Oprah and The Rock are being roasted by the internet right now. And this says so much about how little trust people have for celebrities and structured organizations. Because these two took to social media asking for money to be donated by you following the worst natural disaster in Hawaiian history. And if you didn't hear, on August 8th, high winds allowed fires to spread quickly and even jump over 4-lane highways, big sections of fields of dirt, to reach and burn and level entire communities. Residents had no warning since sirens were never sounded. And water was even shut off, preventing firefighters and residents from stopping the blaze. And according to Honolulu's CreativeBeat.org, a state official refused to release water to fight the fires, and that state official's decision was influenced by water rights that are controlled by large corporate interests on the island. And there's actually a great piece put out by The Guardian by Betsy Reed explaining exactly how the water rights issues fueled these fires and left residents more or less helpless during this natural disaster. And revelations like this are exactly why the masses have almost overnight lost faith in traditional institutions, government organizations, and yes, in this case, even celebrities. Because it seems like all of these people within these groups seem to be living by a different set of rules than the rest of us. So when Oprah and The Rock made this post asking for us to donate our money to the victims of the fire, people freaked out. And this reaction is so different than how we used to react to celebrity-driven content. Just 9 years ago, this famous Oscar selfie went viral, and people loved it. Celebs were cool back then, and I think it's because while Americans in general weren't rich, we got by, and celebrities sort of felt like role models that represented what we could all aspire to if we worked really hard, followed our dreams, got a little bit lucky. But short-form media since then has allowed normal people to compare what's actually happening with the average person with what the ruling class and celebrities are experiencing from crisis to crisis. And the picture is so drastically different between us and them that we no longer feel like there's anything to aspire to. We can't be like these people because they are not like us. We feel on some level that the game is rigged, and believe it or not, there's actually a term for this. It's called disaster capitalism, where no crisis is allowed to go to waste by the people at the top, and the people at the bottom wind up with less stuff at the resolution of every disaster or crisis that comes and goes. It really feels like in the United States, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger is no longer true unless you already have money and connections. And the irony when it comes to these celebrity posts is neither Oprah nor The Rock nor any of the celebrities that posted from their mansions during the pandemic saying that we're all the same, we're all in this together. None of them really seem to realize this. None of them seem to understand what they're actually signaling through these posts. Because to them, they're viewing the world through a different lens. To them, you get through the hard times by making lemonade out of lemons, and things get better on the other side of hard times. Because for them, it's true, but for us, we just keep getting pushed closer and closer to the edge. We don't even have lemons to squeeze, and collectively, we've all recognized this. So even though I personally think this call to donate to the cause comes from a good-hearted place for both of these celebrities, I think it comes from a genuine desire to help. Probably. I hope. It's backfiring on them on levels that they could never have anticipated, and I don't even think they know what to do about this. I think celebrities around the world are seeing this happen and being like, well, what the fuck? Because at the end of the day, all of us are watching this thinking to ourselves, oh, okay, getting money to people on the island is as simple as sending a Venmo request. Why do we need the official formation of funds in order to donate our money? Hawaiian residents already have Venmos and Cash Apps and PayPal links in their bios. We can donate directly to them if their posts are allowed to circulate on social media, and this is where it gets a little bit odd. Many locals are having their posts removed or taken down on social platforms. We don't have visibility to many of the accounts that are owned by people who need our money the most, and that's part of why this Oprah post felt so hollow. It's because people on Main Street don't trust people who already have money to do the right thing when they're offered more money. How do we know for sure that all the money is going to the victims? Who's getting paid as the middleman or middlewoman to make sure that it's distributed properly? How did that person who's making sure all of that happens get the job in the first place? How much is getting skimmed off the top, if any, and how can we be 100% sure that no shady dealings are going on? We ask these questions collectively because we have been conditioned to. Because decade after decade, our trust and our faith in institutions, celebrities, and organizations has crumbled because almost never are things handled appropriately. Because the thing is, Americans genuinely want to help. They just don't have anything to give without increasing the risk of becoming homeless and destitute themselves. And for many people being called to action by Oprah, it just feels feels like too big of a risk to send money to an organization that you're not familiar with, where you don't have 100,000% certainty that your funds aren't going to be misallocated. Because I can handle sending my money to somebody who was affected directly by the fire and having them buy a flat screen TV. That's their decision. But I'm not sure I'm comfortable with sending my money to an organization where the people that are managing the funds are off doing who knows what with it. And I think a lot of people feel this way. Now, I want to be super clear about something at the end of this video. I don't think there's anything wrong with what Oprah and The Rock did. I think, and I would hope, that they did this from a genuine place of wanting to help and make a difference with everything that's going on in Maui. And these two do a lot of charity. They have donated a lot of their own money, so we are told, to these people already, and to past disaster relief efforts. The problem right now in 2023 is that celebrities, along with governments and government officials, just can't seem to be able to read the room when it comes to how the average person in the United States and in the West is doing. Western civilization is decaying before our very eyes, and so many of these people are so high up in this building that they can't even see the crumbling foundation that's beneath them. And we're all getting compressed on the first floor. But they're not even aware of this going on, because they exited that way of life so long ago. Now, there's something interesting about the Oprah post that I wanted to point out as somebody who studies social media and just goes over data and engagement rates. Something really interesting about this post is the number of comments to views on this. So usually on TikTok, we see between 0.1% and 0.5% in terms of comments to views ratio. So if we have 100,000 views on a video, typically a good performing video will do 100 to 150 comments. If a video is trending and being received well by an audience, we'll typically see a 10% like to view ratio. So 100,000 views should have around 10,000 likes. But this Oprah post has a 7% comment to view ratio. Normally we see about 0.1%. This has a 7% comment to view ratio, and almost every comment is just a roast. It's negative. That like to view ratio, which we typically like to see around 10%, this video has a 1.4% like to view ratio. It's totally upside down in terms of what you would want to see from a post that you put out doing what you want it to do. And I think that's just a big indication and a big signal to celebrities everywhere and people who are running the show about how the general public feels and has felt for a very long time. Just something I thought was interesting.